Hey everyone, sorry. Welcome to Shifty's Club today. I'm going to talk about exactly what I promised in the last video. I'm going to continue, excuse me, this chair is kind of I want to continue to talk about the Georgia Marathon and the good road decks to try out. But, of course, as always, everyone knows my channel's going to get so many freaking hits, which I don't really care about. I just want to post videos that people want to watch, so people will start coming to this channel to ask for me for help. Because, as I always say, it's better to get help at a place you know that'll help you than in the places that say they're going to help you. Like, say, and I'm not going to put no one down, like I've already mentioned in the last video, I'm not going to put no one down for any reason, but they'll make some phony promise about how they're going to make sure that your request gets responded to. I'm just one of those guys that's doing this for the sole reason to help the little guys. I'm willing to help everyone that reaches out for me. And no, I'm not the god of Pokemon. Sorry, I can't solve every problem, but I can help you with whatever you need. So do not be afraid to ask me for help, or just ask me any questions in general. As I went through the last video, you know that you submit any questions you have for me, period. Any comments in the comment section. And if you just want to send me an email through YouTube or through Gmail or Yahoo, which I prefer YouTube so I know it's from a person that's watching YouTube, then I'll definitely help you if it's through YouTube, of course. But I just wanted to say that before we get started, if you have any questions whatsoever for me, comments, concerns, anything at all, feel free to post them in comment sections below, from the video starting the last video segment up to any video I create from there on. And no, I'm not going to leave you guys. I've been a Pokemon player since I was young, and unlike Jason Klasinski, I'm not going to do a few videos and then quit on you and forget all about it. And, you know, just stuff like that really doesn't seem to flow, because, I mean, the good players will reach out to the younger players. I mean, if you truly are good, you're going to want to help the little guy instead of trying to create fame for yourself. Because, I mean, try me if you want. Send me as many questions, comments, concerns you have in emails through YouTube or comments in the comment section below. Try me. See if I don't get back to you. I'm willing to help everyone. So, we got that out of the way. Now, we're going to talk about LanBoar. Now, as I said before, LanBoar is a pretty solid deck. Now, given my structure of the deck, it has basically, I've went through the 4 stages that I normally do. I visualize all the cards in format, and I look to see which ones I'd want to choose. I chose something that could do massive damage with energy acceleration, and I took another Pokemon with energy acceleration. So what do I think about it? Well, LanBoar is a good energy acceleration because it could throw fire energy anywhere. Instead of Feraligatr, just throws a water on water type Pokemon. Of course, it could be used with Lantern, but then again, you wouldn't get the draw support with Ninetales. And that's the reason why most people would prefer this deck, and that's why this deck is the rogue deck of the format, as of now. And if, of course, if you see 20 different people play it, it starts to turn into metagame. But because of the first few games, that'll be the south part of Georgia Marathon, I won't be at the ones further south. I'll be at the ones further north, because I live in Cumming, Georgia, so, and that's in Forsyth County. That's right. That's the county above Fulton County, which is where Atlanta is located, in South Fulton. But I live about 50 miles north of Atlanta, so I'm not going to drive past Atlanta just to go to a bunch of tournaments. Of course, unless it's Douglasville. But as we all know, this is our opportunity to throw some rogue decks, shine, and try to full pass some people. Now, with the exception, of course, of my secret rogue deck, LanBoar is by far the best rogue deck that I have really seen work. And the way that I interpret this is that because on my first objective, I wanted to find an energy acceleration combo that deals massive damage, and I found an energy acceleration source that works well with a draw input such as Ninetales. Lantern works with LanBoar, which works with Ninetales, which works with your deck. And in turn, you're getting all the cards you need out, and you're basically swamping the game. Now, is there any bad side to this? You bet there is. There's plenty of things that could go wrong for this deck, but if you tech just right and you play your cards perfectly, you have no bad matchups. It's just how you draw. And I can go ahead and sneak out a few things for you guys. I know you think, well, if I don't give you all the advice I have, then I'm being mean. Of course not. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying not to give away my deck so you guys can try to test on your own, which I don't mind at all. But I know when it comes to Pokemon video game parties, I rather have people build their own parties completely. I can give them good sources, but of course, everyone does the the little Ivy trick with oh god, what's it called again? I forget. It's where you have perfect IVs and everything. Forget what they call it. I just know how to do it. RNG manipulation. Just like that, every player does the RNG, and then they do all the, get the EVs they need, and they get the helpful natures, and they spread everything out completely. And that's exactly why they can be willing to do that, and I'll help them with their attacks, nature, and everything, and so on and so forth. But in the trading card game, you can take a deck, just any old deck you want, shuffle it up, get ready to play, and try to see if you can win. But I'm not going to give my entire deck away, alright? Now, as far, I'll give you basically the cards in the deck that work well. Now, of course, as always, you've got Lantern Prime and Chinchou, and I prefer when it comes to Tepig and Pignite, I prefer Tepig BW15 and Pignite BW17. And obviously the LanBoar BW20, and I don't use any attack LanBoar. And the reason for this is because, well, you're never going to be using the attack LanBoar. You're just going to be using Lantern Prime the whole time. And the reason why you use Lantern Prime is because you would be doing 40 damage plus 10 more damage for each energy attached to your Pokemon, period. That means you could have 3 on Lantern, 3 on another Lantern, some on Reshiram, which you do have in the deck, Reshiram, and obviously Ninetales and Vulpix. The Ninetales is the, well, it doesn't matter, but I do the HS7, but you can use Call of Legends. That's Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Ninetales, and the Unleashed Vulpix. Not because it's more HP, but because of, well, for that reason, but moreover because it has a better attack whenever you need it. And let's see, in my past experiences, I've probably got to say that when you tech this deck, you don't really have too many Pokemon that you want to be teching in. If you want to do like one Yamega line or one Yamega Prime line, that is up to you. The only reason I wouldn't suggest it is because you're doing straight draw, and most people say that refresh draw is the best way to go. That is totally inaccurate, because Ninetales gets you all that draw with just one Pokemon. You get 3 cards that turn, and you can get 3 or 4 cards off another support draw. Now, I will say this. If your opponent does judge you, and in that situation you say, it's better to have a fresh draw. But in reality, think, if you had a 9-tails and you were judged, correct? Alright, shuffle up, draw 4. Next turn, you have an energy in your hand, throw it down for 3, and you have a Charon or Engineer's Adjustments, which both are in the deck. You could take an energy card, discard it, and draw even more. There's a bigger hand to work with. Now you can start getting things done that you need to. Now I know that this deck doesn't, how shall we say, it's not the big bad wolf deck, but it definitely does work, if you know what I mean. Because I mean the strategy's straightforward. Probably, as far as I can put it, you only use 2 Super Rod, which I don't mind giving that away. So, if you want to take notes, go right ahead. You can be listing the cards as I go along if you want to know what cards I use in my deck. And I could give a few quantities, which I don't mind whatsoever, just as long as I don't give the whole deck away, because I might have to resort to it. And because of the Super Rod, you would be needing to get back those Lantern Primes, and very rarely you'll be getting back the LanBoar. You do use Switch because you have to get LanBoar out if he's up as an attacker. I know catchers die hard in this form. I know there's people that taking Bellsprout in their decks, which is crazy. And I know there's plenty of people that decide, oh wow, I'm going to run 4 catcher and I'm going to run Pokemon Reversal. Why? And then you see people that run 4 Pokemon catcher and a bunch of junk arm, and sometimes reversal. I hate when people try to do this because, of course, you want to have a bunch of catcher and junk arm, but you never need reversal. But there's people who still do it, and all I'm going to say about this deck is that you got to get set up. Once you got Chinchilla Reshiram up front, you need to be supporting the energy onto them. And if you don't, you have to get it with 9-tails. If you can't get LanBoar off turn 3, turn 4, you need to get the other Pokemon up and running manually. And 9-tails better come out. If LanBoar isn't up turn 3, turn 4, you need to have 9-tails on that bench drawing, or else you're going to lose the game. And it's not that hard. If you run the right list, you'll almost never be jammed. And I'll go ahead and say, obviously, you've got the Lantern Chinchou, LanBoar BW20, I'll just say the number, LanBoar 20, Pignite 17, Tepig 15, 9-tails, Heart Soul Silver, Vulpix, Unleashed, Reshiram, of course. Then, for trainers, you've got Junk Arm, Rare Candy, Pokemon Communication, Pokemon Catcher, Rocky Helmet, Super Scoop Up, just in case you need it. And that's probably one of the few things that I'll use very rarely. Super Rod, of course. What else did I go over? I'm going completely out. I usually do it alphabetically. Switch. Let's see. Yes, I do tech a defender in there. I forgot to mention that. Just because I don't use Evolite, because if I use Evolite, I will kill myself. Because Reshiram's the only thing I got in the deck, and I use Rocky Helmet anyway to support that extra 20 damage. So I don't use plus power. Period. Some people require it. I don't. Energy Retrieval. Energy Returner, I only use 1 though. And it's just to get those 4 back into the deck. If you have a crap load of energy in there and you've got to get all those energy out play a returner, get 4 into your deck, and shuffle it. Because as a trainer, you can use a fisherman, get 4 into your hand. You can use an energy returner and get 4 back in your deck. That's 8 returned energy, 4 to your hand, 4 to your deck. Now you can start attaching and get back to moving. That's why that one returner is necessary. And I think that's it, if I'm not badly wrong. Yes, okay. Charon, Engineer's Adjustments, Pokemon Collector, that's it. I know, I don't run that many supporters, but I got 4 of each, so it doesn't really matter. I use double colorless, lightning, and fire. I know, crazy. I'll go ahead and give you the numbers: 2 double colorless, 2 lightning, and 10 fire. Which isn't nothing really, but as always, I tried to help you guys as much as I could. Hope you took some notes, and of course, I really don't feel like giving the whole list, but if you do use, if you learn to find the right combination of LanBoar, it really does help when you play with it in certain matches. So the reason I'm listing this deck first is so you guys get a head start on trying to test something such as LanBoar, because it's such a good rogue deck to use. So I don't know what I'm talking about next. Actually, give me that list over there. Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about that one. No. No, it's not going to be viable at Worlds. No. Just give me that. No, give me that. Let's see here. Sorry for that. I'm gonna guess, and yeah, this is definitely gonna go up on the web. So sorry for why I'm doing this, but I want to give you guys the second best deck, other than LanBoar, of course. Well, from LanBoar, when you give you the next best. Which one would that be? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, next one, yeah. I doubt it's going to be metagame. Donphans and Dragons. Sounds pretty weird, but it's a pretty good deck. And I'll go over that next at Shifty's Club.